Okay, what's up, everybody? We are live. It's Maisha Edmond, licensed cosmetologist in the state of New York. I am also your most favorite trichology strategist and mentor. Super excited to be here. So much has been going on. I'm so excited. So we wrapped up um, yesterday our Why Trichologists Are Broke masterclass, which was absolutely amazing. An hour and a half of pure strategy, direction, mentorship, all the things. So that was really, really, really good. And then I have put up a post for the Plan to Succeed class, which was absolutely free. The VIP or the Q&A was the part that was paid. But then I decided if it's free, I might as well just do it in a live. Like, I'm not gonna try to come up with something or a date and do the Zoom and all that other stuff, although I did have it up there. So I just ended up Xing that out. So we're gonna do it today. We are going to do it today. Let me see if I can put this up here. Planned to succeed. Okay, I couldn't do it. I thought I was going to be able to do it. I have to type it out. Plan to succeed. Okay, so Plan to Succeed is our class today, our live class. I'm going to pin that on TikTok, not TikTok, that's Instagram. All right, so instead of me doing a whole Zoom and all that other stuff, we are going to do the Plan to Succeed class right here. So if you are a trichologist or a healthy hair care stylist who is looking at trichology and you are saying, I need to learn how to do my treatment plans, how to put protocols together, how to do my I think I have some pricing in here and all that. I'm gonna do this absolutely free, and so I'm excited about that. I'm gonna take my time. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done because it was gonna be free anyway. Again, the only thing that I was going to charge for was the VIP session for questioning, but since I'm not doing that and I'm just going to be talking, right, then we're just going to go from there. And so let me go ahead. We are live on Instagram. So if you know somebody that needs the Plan to Succeed class and it is free, and I have in past years charged for this because it's a really good class, right? Tell them to join me on Instagram, trichology_911, or on Facebook, Maisha Edmond, or on YouTube. Okay, so plan to succeed, all about treatment plans and all those things. Hey, so we're going to do Plan to Succeed, and I want you to go get you some paper, get your little highlighter, get you a pen and stuff, and we're going to do the Plan to Succeed class right now. Yesterday we did Why Trichologists Are Broke. It was an absolutely amazing class. Like I said, tips, strategy, all the things. Group mentorship is registration is closed, so that's done. That starts on May 4th, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. 6 weeks of all the things that you need to be successful as a trichologist, all your assets, your positioning, your branding. But right now we are going to do the Plan to Succeed class, right? So if you saw it, once again, if you saw it on my Instagram page or my Facebook page, and you saw that I was having the Plan to Succeed class, absolutely free. The only thing that was going to be paid was the Q&A part, because that's when I give like all the strategy and stuff. But since we're doing it right now, it still was going to be free, so you don't have to worry about it. We're going to get started. Right now. So I just need you to just make sure that you are writing some things down. If you have like some light questions, I definitely can answer. But outside of that, we're just going to stick to the training. Thanks for everybody that is on Instagram, that's on Facebook, that's on YouTube. Hey, how y'all doing? All right, let's get to it. So a lot of times we don't even understand what a treatment plan is as a trichologist. What is a treatment plan. I like to break it down to the lowest common denominator so that we will kind of just know what we are offering to our clients and potential clients if they have questions, right? And so a treatment plan for trichologists is the vehicle, right? The treatment plan is the vehicle that you are going to use from the point of consultation all the way to the desired point or promised result that you will deliver to your client. So a treatment plan is basically a vehicle. It is how you're going to get your client from the consultation to their desired result, right? If you can get that, or as close as you can get to it, right? It's going to be a combination of different general protocols, right? Your specific tools, your products, your treatments, your knowledge of ailments, behaviors. You're going to combine all of those things with the severity and the duration in order to make a plan. So you're going to consider all these different things. You're considering, what tools am I using? What products am I using? What behaviors do these ailments have? And I'm going to combine all of that with the severity, right? How severe is the issue? And then the duration. How long do I plan to take to remedy this issue if it can be remedied, right? And you'll know if it can be remedied, I mean, kinda in the consultation, right? Because some stuff you'll start to uncover during treatment, and then you'll say, okay, well, this is doing something else. But for all intents and purposes, you should know how long you need to be with this specific client to handle this issue. As a rule of thumb, I love 12 weeks because you can't, I mean, you can see some stuff, but a good old 90 days is going to reveal everything that needs to be revealed, right? Okay, so that's number one. That's what a treatment plan is, what's the purpose of a treatment plan, and what you're doing with that treatment plan. Okay, the next thing is, how are you going to get there, right? You could take a car or you could take a bike, right? Now, how fast you want to go or how slow you want to go, but you want to make sure that you know how you're going to get your client to the desired result as it relates to your treatment plan, right? So the right components will never change. The right components for a treatment plan will never change, right? When we're writing out our treatment plan, you always have to consider, you always need to consider that you're going to need the same things that's going to make you successful and consistent to help those clients, right? And so that's one thing you got to remember, that when you create that roadmap or that treatment plan, pretty much you are going to continue to offer the same thing. All right. And I will explain. So there is a treatment plan formula that I created, right? Hope you're writing notes and all that other stuff. Again, this is Plan to Succeed class. So write down your notes, right? So you need a treatment plan formula. Treatment plan formula is very important. So here is the formula. You need to know the characteristics, right? How does the ailment behave, right? What happens with this ailment? If it's CCCA, you know that it is inflammatory, right? If it is telogen effluvium, you know that it is diffuse, exactly. If it is androgenetic alopecia, right? So you have to know, number one, the characteristics of the issue that you are treating. So the first part of the formula or treatment plan formula is going to be knowing the characteristics. The next thing that you want to know is how to stop the issues, right? So basically it is, I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes too. What is the thing that your client sees visibly that you can eliminate? Okay, I'm leaning in, child. What is the thing that your client sees visibly that you can eliminate? So know how to stop the visible issues. Why? Because when you have a client that is experiencing hair loss, they don't see what you see as a trichologist. They see my hair is in the sink, my hair is on my pillow, my hair is on my shoulders, or this is a thin spot, this is a bald spot, this is that, right? So how you treat those things that they see visibly is really going to, unfortunately, right, um hinge onto how they trust you, right? Because you can say all you want, that's not important and that's not what we need and what we got to do is this and that, but if they don't see some kind of progress, they are going to lose hope. They're going to lose hope. And so you want to make sure that you are that you are I did something that you are helping this client to see um, some progress, right? While you are working on what is really important, right? The next thing, we're talking about the formula for a trichology treatment plan, right? So the first thing was you want to know the characteristics of the ailments that you're treating. And then you want to know how to stop the visible issues that the client sees. Then you want to know how to treat the invisible, right? And it's not one after the other, right? You have to know the characteristics, but you're going to be treating the visible and the invisible at the exact same time. At the same time, if I'm making sense, put a one in the chat. You have to treat those things at the same time. So while they're right, exactly, thank you. While they're able to see what's going on visibly, you have to be able to treat the invisible. Hey, Nikki, you have to be able to treat the invisible, right? So what are the underlying things that you know are going on that's affecting the visible things? So the client's coming in, my hair is shedding, I see thinning spots and breakage and all that other stuff. That's stuff that they can see. So you have to be able to manage what they see while treating what they don't see that is going to affect what they do see. Does that make sense? I know it makes sense, right? Right. And so that's going to be really, really big. So you have to know how to address those invisible issues. And basically, what are the internal issues that a client will experience, right? Because that's really going to help you to move forward in your treatment plan. The next thing that I say is a part of a treatment plan formula is that let me see what this say. Okay, absolutely. Thank you. And so also going through your products, your list of products, your all those things, right? Because there are things that you purchased on purpose. There are things that you pulled together on purpose that's going to help that client, right? And because of that, you need to know what you have, what are those things that you are going to be able to use to help that client, right? You have to know, what is this thing I'm going to be able to use? So there are different, there are different you should have a list of products that the client is able to use or that you are using. If you're like, of course, like you're using products, but you have to know like why they work, right? You have to know what they do. You have to be very sure about those things. I'm trying not to cover up my other screen. That's why I'm leaning in like this, trying to adjust. Okay. So you have to know what are those things that I'm going to be able to use to help this client. So you're going through that list of your products, right? You should have that list of products, what they do, how do they work, and how they can or cannot be mixed. There's some products, just like in our cosmetology space, that should not be mixed, right? And that could exacerbate an issue for your clients. So you want to make sure that you're going through that. The next thing when you think about a trichology treatment plan formula is that you have to go through your cheat sheet of ailments. Do you have a cheat sheet of ailments? Right, this information, let me see. I had something I wrote on this piece of paper. If you would believe me, I wrote on this little piece of paper back in 2020, 2021. It is, and I'm ashamed I have it. I done moved into a new house and I still got this thing, but that's okay. I have a cheat sheet, and I should have, of course I made it pretty, but this is my thing. And I have a cheat sheet of like ailments, right? Of the ailments, right? So I have like it's right here, it says, you can't see it, it says non-inflammatory, and then I have like some non-inflammatory issues that I wrote down there. And then I have genetic and cogenetic, and I have some issues there. And then I have growth disorders, and then I have some issues here on the growth disorders. I was doing a lot, but let's not judge me too hard. Don't judge me too hard. Inflammatory, I have all the things, right? But do you have a cheat sheet of things, especially if you are a new trichologist? I think that one thing that is lost on us as trichologists that have been in for a minute is that we think that everybody knows what we know, but there are people that are being introduced to trichology professionally every single day. And so it's going to be, you're going to need a little cheat sheet, right? You're going to need a little something that's going to help you out. And so if you have your cheat sheet, this is information that is going to give you the breakdown of each hair loss issue that you see by characteristic, by cause, by when to help, by what to do, how to support, and then or then how to support is treatment suggestions, right? So if you are creating a cheat sheet, you want your cheat sheet to have those different components. You want it to have a breakdown of the issues so that you can see by characteristic, what is the cause, when to help, when to refer, and how to support, or the treatment suggestions, right? Those things are going to help you as well. We're talking about planning to succeed or creating a treatment plan for your clients as you're going forth. The next part of the treatment plan formula that I created is going through your nutritional descriptions and suggestions, right? So that's going to include information that helps clients to possibly eliminate medications with instructions, with the instruction of their physician, right? So if there's something that a client may be doing and they're on medication for this thing, you do not have the authority to tell somebody not to use their medication, right? Yes, right, exactly. So you don't have the authority to tell them get off the medication. That blood pressure medication ain't no good for you, right? You don't have that authority. But because we use holistic practices to help to regulate the body, the scalp, the hair, then we can suggest certain things, i.e. eating for your blood type and different things like that, that will help the client to have a better way of life or quality of life, therefore causing their doctor to to reevaluate and say, hey, you needed this, but we can reduce it, or you don't need it anymore, right? So you want to go through those things that you have as far as those nutritional descriptions and suggestions. For example, a person that has androgenetic alopecia, we know that zinc is going to help, right? And so if zinc is going to help, then we know that we are nutritionally going to talk about dark leafy greens. We're going to talk about omega-3s. We're going to talk about eating salmon. We're going to talk about eating sweet potatoes, all those different things. So those are going to be staples in what you talk about in that instance, right? Now, here is a tip. I want to stop right here. Here's a tip, right? This is a Trichology 911 tip, right? Clients with drug-induced alopecia, or I call DIA, they will have two major kinds of hair loss. When you see a client that's on a lot of pills or medications, right? I call it DIA, drug-induced alopecia. They will have two major kinds of hair loss. They will have androgenetic alopecia or telogen effluvium. Androgen, anagen, oh Lord, wake me up. Okay. Anagen effluvium or telogen effluvium, right? They'll have two of those major things. So what you have to do is determine what type of hair loss is caused, right? Side effects must be considered, especially if they cause another issue that requires more meds that cause the hair loss. In other words, if you have a client that is on they're doing chemo, right? Chemo, right, obviously is going to cause anagen effluvium, right? Because it attacks the cells in the growth phase, because it has to, because it's also attacking those cancer cells, right? So that was just a little tip. That was just a little something I just wanted to tell you right up in through there, right? Okay. So the next thing is we're looking at, let me move this. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're looking at that your clients, if they definitely are on medications and different things like that, that you consider that. Let's go into something that I call the duration severity rule. Write this down. If you say she ain't never gave me nothing, I'm about to give you this, right? This is a rule of thumb that I created so many years ago. I can't even believe I'm saying it so many years ago, right? Because it's just absolutely crazy. Oh, wow. So if you are a trichologist, this is going to be the thing for you. As a rule of thumb, the duration severity rule. As a rule of thumb, I like 12 weeks as a basis to solve an issue, right? This determines if a new phase will be required, right? So the duration severity rule is basically, what is this client facing and what is the severity of it? Because the severity is going to determine how long I'm with that client. The severity of the issue is going to determine how long I'm with that client, which means that if it's a simple traction alopecia, I might not need 12 weeks, although that's my rule of thumb. But if it is an inflammatory issue, then of course I'm going to need 12 weeks, and they might have to go ahead and go into a next phase. This brings us into phases and what belongs in phases. This is how I created my treatment plans, right? I don't know if you need it. You might need it. You might not. But when you are doing treatment plans, think about splitting things up into phases. So 12 weeks, 3 phases, 4 weeks per phase. Does that make sense? Is that good? That so that you can break it up. You know that this 4 weeks is going to be this 4 weeks is going to be that, and this 4 weeks is going to be this. And I'm going to explain to you how I do my breakup of the weeks, right? Okay, so my first phase, that first phase is very important to me. So the phase equals, again, the 12 weeks. Okay, so if you're writing it down, right, that's a normal one phase treatment, one round treatment plan, right? The client, if this is like, let's say the client only has one issue, and most clients have more than one thing, right? But let's just make it like very simple. So the first 4 weeks will be your detox weeks. Does that make sense? Come on, the first 4 weeks is going to be your detox weeks, right? So there's that. Your second 4 weeks is going to be where you solve the issue. Your second 4 weeks is going to be where you solve the issue. Your third 4 weeks is going to be your maintenance. It's going to be your maintenance. Okay. So like, let's pretend that, that if you were looking at like a bar graph, that, first weeks, second 4 weeks. Okay. So the first 4 weeks is flat. Second 4 weeks goes up. And then the third 4 weeks, you start to decline and level back out. So let's talk about it. First phase, first phase is going to be the most volatile. Does that make sense? Your first phase is going to be the absolute most volatile. It's going to be the most puzzling. It's going to be the most emotional for your clients. It's going to need the most structure that first 4 weeks, because yes, you are detoxing. You're also trying to see how this thing is behaving. You're trying to see when I'm doing certain things. First of all, when I detox, how does the body react? How does the hair and the scalp respond to the detoxes? Now, remember, when I say detox is, people just be making it. Okay, some people say detox and they mean water. Some people say detox and they mean take certain foods out. Some people say detox and they say drink this tea, right? But whatever it is, whatever that detox is, you have to think about this first 4 weeks is the most volatile. It's the most emotional for the client, right? It needs the most structure. You need to be able to say, okay, this is what you need to eat. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to take out. This, right? Because in those first 4 weeks, this is where you're really kind of getting your footing to help that specific client, right? So it's the most volatile, it's the most puzzling, it's the most emotional. They saying it's not working, and then you have to consistently reiterate that, hey, you didn't lose your hair overnight, so you're not going to grow it back overnight, right? So there's going to be some things that really need to be leveled out in order for us to get a lot of that headway. But another thing is, even with simple things that we do, we will start to see a lot of good results as a trichologist, right? Something as simple as, hey, drink half your body weight in ounces of water. Hey, let's cut out this. Let's cut out that, as far as like junk food and different things like that. Let's reduce inflammatory things, like if they're heavy dairy and stuff like that, right? So doing that, sugar and all that other stuff, alcohol, right? And so those things are going to be super important, and you will start to see something right there. And so I call those first 4 weeks, or phase 1, the define phase. The define phase, right? The next phase, the next 3-4 weeks, right? I mean, the next 4 weeks, right, is going to be your improved stage. It's going to be your improved stage, right? This is where you establish stability with the client. This is where you have consistent analytics. This is where trust is fortified. And this is where you see the most changes and improvements. Right? So once you got out of that volatile stage, if we went like red, yellow, green, like a stop sign, like a traffic light, we're in yellow, right? We left red and we're in yellow, right? This is where things start to slow down, right? So we're establishing that stability again. We are consistent with the analytics, right? We can see, we know what's going on, right? Then the trust is fortified. Okay, yeah, my hair's not down my back, but this is not doing what it used to do. It's not shedding the way it was. It's not doing all those different things. And that's a really big thing for you as well, right? And so you want to make sure that you get to that phase. Then that was the improved phase. The last phase, the last 4 weeks, is going to be your control phase. That is maintenance, right? That is maintenance is going to be introduced, right? So you're starting to show your client, hey, when you in this phase with me, when you in this treatment plan with me, if they're not going to go forward with you and do another thing, say like this whole whatever they was going through is already solidified, is already treated, and you have to start to introduce maintenance. You're going to start teaching them, okay, this is how you shampoo your hair. This is how you do this. This is how you do that, right? You're going to give them strong at-home instructions, right? Strong at-home instructions. And then you're going to establish follow-up. Now, what does that look like, right? Because a lot of times we'll have people go through our treatment plans and then we don't give them proper follow-up, right? They're on their own. They don't know what's going on next. Right? They don't know what to do next, how to do whatever. It is just whatever, right? So how are we going to help these clients? How are we going to help these clients? They're done with being in your care. Are they able to maintain the growth that you have helped them with, right? So they have the health, they have the hair, the scalp is not inflamed, they're seeing growth, they're proud of their growth and all that other stuff. But what are you going to do about their follow-up instructions? Do they come and see you once a month after this? Is it time for them to go into another treatment plan because you focused on one thing and now they need another treatment plan? So it's all up to you, like how you're going to do that. So you want to, again, introduce maintenance, teach the clients, they want to give them at-home instructions, and then establish the follow-up. That's going to be really big. Now, how do you do that? You do all these things because guess what? A treatment plan is built up of individual general protocols. Okay, does that make sense? A treatment plan is built up of general protocols, individual general protocols. So why is that important? It's important because there is no client that I have seen that only has one type of hair loss. If that's true for you, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. There's no client that I have seen that has one type of hair loss. If that's true for you, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat because I'm going to talk about that real quick. All right. So here it is. A client having CCCA. They're probably going to have traction alopecia because they're pulling their hair up tight and they're trying to cover up and hide CCCA. So that's 2, right? A client with CCCA who is pulling up their hair tight in a ponytail, right? They are also stressed out. And so if they're stressed out, they may develop androgenetic alopecia areata, those spots, right? Maybe they are going through a bunch of anxiety and they are like nervous and they are twisting his hair, and next you know they done pulled their hair out, and now that is trichotillomania. Do you get what I'm saying? There is usually at least 2 types of hair loss that is present when I see a client with hair loss because they're trying to make up for the last thing. So I'm going to give you a breakdown right now how to create your own protocol, a quick protocol, a general protocol. This is not for extreme cases. This is for something general. So I'm going to use traction alopecia because it's the most general type of hair loss that I know, right? So let's imagine a circle. Okay, let's imagine a circle. And the circle is going to have a few lines coming from the circle. So it's a circle, and then you got these lines, right? That's going to be what your general protocol diagram looks like, right? And let's say at the very top, this circle is representative of traction alopecia, okay? So you're going to have the different things that you need in order to create a protocol. What you need to create a general protocol, I hope you're writing this down. Number 1 is going to be the severity, right? Number 2 is going to be the duration. Okay. Number 3 is going to be your nutrition. And this is not in any specific order. Number 4 is going to be your procedure and your treatment. So whatever procedures or treatments you're going to use. Number 5 is going to be the products. And number 6 is going to be the characteristics. I'm going to say it again. When you are creating a general protocol, right? A general protocol is going to have different components that's going to help you to make the protocol. Because general protocols put together is going to create a treatment plan. So if you need to create a treatment plan, the treatment plan is made up of different protocols that's going to address different issues to get the client from point A, which is consultation, to Z, which is what you guys promised or what you guys talked about the results would be. Okay? So when you have a treatment plan or when you have a general protocol, you want to include the severity, the duration, the nutrition, the procedure or treatments, your products, and your characteristics. All right. So let's say it was traction alopecia. We're going to use traction alopecia because that's the most general type of hair loss that I can kind of come up with, right? So here's the breakdown. For traction alopecia, let's say your duration or your severity, let's say is low to moderate. It's low to moderate, right? So for general, you would always be able to treat this level. If somebody came in with a low to moderate severity of traction alopecia, then what I'm going to create for you right now is going to remedy that, right? After the severity is the duration. We talked about this. So instead of a 12-week treatment plan, it might be 4 to 6 weeks. They just came out of braids. They just came out of some kind of protective style, weave, twist, whatever, right? And they're seeing like massive shedding, but they're also seeing like that it's very thin in here, like that whole thing, right? 4 to 6 weeks, right? Let's say it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks, right? And so that duration is how long you're going to stay with that client to help them get from A to Z. So this is for a general traction alopecia. Okay. The next thing is going to be your nutrition. Maybe it's not necessarily that they need a certain food, but this client, because it's a general issue, they are not drinking enough water. So your nutrition in that general protocol is going to say water increased. So they're going to say, you're going to say, do you drink water? This client is going to say, I drink water all the time. I drink it in my tea. I drink it in my coffee. You're going to tell them, no, not tea or coffee, water. And then you're going to tell them half your body weight in ounces of water. Okay. So you have that, right? So after you do that, hey y'all, after you do that, that's the nutrition. You want to go to your procedures / treatments, right? And so that's going to be for a regular general general protocol for a client that has traction alopecia. That's going to be tension reduction. That might be CIT or LLLT. CIT is collagen-induced therapy or your low-level laser therapy, and then tension reduction, which means that if a client comes into you and they have a traction alopecia issue, right? Then you want to reduce the tension. So if it was braids, it was how the weave pattern was, if it was all those things, you want to immediately reduce the tension. And then you want to induce the collagen, right? So however you do collagen induction, I do it in different ways, but however you do it, you probably want to add that. And you want to also add LLLT. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're adding that, right? That's going to be in your product or treatment section of your general protocol, right? The next thing you want to think about is your products. What are your products? Your products are including, but not just your supplements, your drops, your shampoos, things like that, right? So what products are you sending the client home with? What so they need supplements, right? Maybe they need supplements. You're looking at, because remember, this is after you did the consultation, right? So after the consultation, you already decided, okay, they need supplements, like they're not doing the things that are going to support healthy hair growth. So you're going to need these things. You're going to need these things. So I might need here's some supplements. Here's scalp drops. There's certain drops that's going to help to nourish the scalp and have a good scalp environment for hair growth. And then maybe they're using, I don't want to call no names, I'm not being sponsored, a certain kind of shampoo. Then you're saying, no, I need a shampoo, a conditioner, at-home treatment that is trichologically sound. You need something that's trichologically sound. How are you going to help this client? Okay, so again, we are building a general protocol for traction alopecia, right? So we're almost done with that. So we started, we had the severity is low to moderate. The duration, we might see them 4 to 6 weeks. Then we go to the nutrition. There's going to be an increased water intake. Then we went to your products and your treatments. That's your tension reduction, your CIT, your LLLT. And then we went to our products, which is supplements, our drops, and our shampoo. And then the final thing is going to be the characteristics of said issue. The characteristics. So for all intents and purposes, a general, regular, non-problematic traction alopecia is going to be non-scarring and non-inflammatory. That is not the what we see, when it's severe. But let's say it's just regular. It is non-scarring and non-inflammatory. So all of that makes sense, because if it's non-scarring and non-inflammatory, then I don't really have to worry about being with them for 12 weeks, because the severity is not high. The severity is low to moderate. If the severity is low to moderate, you might not need the full 12 weeks. You get what I'm saying? And that's why you have different levels of treatment plans. And that's why I came up with this class, Plans to Succeed, right? Because if you do not need that full thing, then you can say, oh, you know what? This is something that the client can do themselves, or this is something that the client can do with support by me, or this is something that they need me hands-on for the full 12 weeks. So you can do a DIY treatment plan, right? And that DIY treatment plan, you could just tell them what to do, this, and this, and that'd be done. DIY with support looks like they're doing everything, but then once a month for 3 months, based on how I'm telling you to do it for the 12 weeks, they come into you once a month for 12 weeks, for 3 months, 12 weeks, and they are getting a treatment from you that they cannot otherwise do at home. Does that make sense? Or if you are a trichologist like I am that works closely with other stylists, then they will go to their stylist, and on week 4, they will come to you. And you're going to tell the stylist, okay, this is what they need. This is what we're doing. This is how they should be taken care of. They'll come to me on week 4. And on week 4, I'm going to do a treatment for them that they would not otherwise get from you, because I'm equipped to do this. And then you could send them back for styling if you are not styling them, if you are solely their trichologist, if that makes sense, right? So let's put all of those things together and come up with the general protocol for traction alopecia. So remember that circle. Traction alopecia, right, is going to be low to moderate. It is non-inflammatory and non-scarring. We're only going to see the client for 4 to 6 weeks of treatment, to include CIT, LLLT, a pattern change or tension reduction. They're going to get a moisture kit. They're going to get hair supplements, and they are going to drink more water. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And so that's how you would do a treatment plan, because a general protocol. Now think about that. You're going to do that for everything that you see. When you're in the consultation, you're looking at all the things that the client may have. All the things that the client may have. Okay, I see a little traction. I see a little telogen effluvium. I'm looking at a little androgenetic alopecia. Oh, she said that she had PCOS. So now you're looking at creating general protocols for yourself. Different protocols for yourself. That say, okay, thank you. That says, okay, this is what I need to address. And this is why I said, when you're looking at building the formula for it to be a trichologist that comes up with a treatment plan, you have to look at what works together, because there could be 2 or 3 things that you can address together at the same time. But then there may be something that you can't address in this particular treatment plan over the 3 phases, right? So you may be able to handle a few things, but maybe not everything. And so you want to make sure that you're looking at, okay, how does this issue work? What does it do? What does it need? Because then I can create 4 different protocols and see how they work together. Maybe I can't do all 4 in one treatment plan, but maybe I can do 2 or 3. If I can do 2, then that means you have to come back for another treatment plan. And then at the next treatment plan, we're going to do these 2 protocols to get these things together. So that's a different set of maybe supplements, a different nutrition cycle, and different things like that. Am I clear? If it's good, put a 1 in the chat. If it's good, put a 1 in the chat. All right. And so that is really big. So now let's look at, we're still talking about planning to succeed. Let's talk about naming your price, right? Let's talk about naming your price as a trichologist. How many weeks will you see your client? These are things that you have to consider when you're looking at helping the client. Thank you. When you're thinking about helping that client, right? How many weeks are you going to see that client? How many weeks? How often will you see them? Are you going to see them one at a time, once a week? Do they have to come in twice a week? Do y'all remember when you would have to see when I ain't gonna say no names because they're not paying me. They want you to tell your client to come in twice in a week back in 2016 and 17, talking about they needed the LLT. They need to come in twice a week and sit underneath your laser. What? Like people ain't got jobs? Okay, so that triggered me a little bit. So how many weeks will you see the client, right? We're talking about naming your price now. How often will you see them? Okay. How much do you want per hour? Because now I'm talking to you as a professional. We know you love the people and we know you love their hair and you want their hair to grow, and that's true. But this is not a hobby. It's your job, right? It's your business. How much do you want per hour? How much do you want per hour? Or how much do you want per service? Very quick story. I remember when I first got my electroporation wand. And that wand cost me like $1,000 for the wand by itself. And then you couldn't get the serums and the peptides and stuff like, oh, let me just get one. No, you had to, because you had to spend a minimum of $250, right, for each thing. And so so when I first got the electroporation wand, and when I got the all the little vials and stuff that I needed, I had to spend, I think I spent about $1,400. At the time I was in like a small suite, and my rent was $260 a week. Is that cheap? I don't know. I don't remember. But it was $260 a week. And yeah, so there was that. So I decided anytime I'm going to open up this case and pull out this very expensive $1,000 machine, I'm going to charge $260 for the treatment, right? Now, of course, it'll be less if the client was in a treatment plan. But if they're not in a treatment plan and it was like a la carte service, the a la carte service was $260, which is absolutely amazing in my opinion, because of how electroporation works. And if you know, you already know like how it works and how it pushes all the nutrients and everything down underneath the dermal layer and does all the things, right? So is it per hour? Is it per service? What is your atmosphere demanding? Is it dirty? Is it dark? Is it dank? Is it stank? Is it loud, right? Is it upscale? Is it light? Is it airy? Is it beautiful? Is it something that they can close their eyes and literally get the sleep that they haven't gotten? Is it, do you have spa water? Do you have, what is it? And we're not talking about fluff and grass walls and stuff. We're talking about, what does your atmosphere demand? And what does your appearance demand, right? Are they seeing shoulders and bellies and toes? Or are you in your lab coat, or are you in scrubs? Are you dressed nicely, right? Because when naming your price, all of those things matter, right? All of those things matter. And so just think about those things. I can't tell you how much you should charge. Well, I can tell you how much you should charge. I don't think that a trichology consultation should be under $100, but I get it. I get it. I get it. If you scared, say you scared. It's all right. Right. Treatment plans. I remember when I used to charge $1,100 for a 16-week treatment plan. Don't nobody talk about me because I didn't know and I didn't have nobody. The reason why that is important, because it broke down to about $52 a week for 16 weeks. And then I also was afraid to say that it was more than that because I already done told you $1,100. Then I was afraid to tell you that that didn't include hairstyling, hair color, hairstyling, hair color, haircuts, and all that other stuff, because trichology is a different thing. It is outside of the hairstyling. But I didn't know how to say that. I didn't know how to phrase that, right? And so people was making out like a bandit because they were coming to me every single week, getting a new hairstyle every single week, and it was all inclusive. So if you think about, let's do a general number of $200. Somebody tell me what's 200 times 16. 200 times 16, is that 3,200? Somebody help me out. I can't use my calculator because it's on my phone. 200 times 16. Let me see. Anybody over here? Anybody in the chat? I'm trying to make a point here. They already was making out if I did weave maintenance, color, cut, and then, you know what I'm saying, $3,200. That's not include. That's the hairstyling. That's not and then how much you charge for color, right? Then right, so then you got color. Let's act like color is only $100, and they want hair. They want the color touched up every other week, right? So that's 16 weeks. So then that's $800. So that's $4,000, right? Okay, and then let's say they want a little cut. And they said, okay, I'm gonna start with the weave long, and then I'm gonna have it here, and then I want layers and da. And let's say you adding a cut, your regular cuts. Let's say your regular cut is $50. I'm just trying to be clean with it, right? And that's $800, so $400 if they want it every 2 weeks. They trying to cut it up and do stuff. Child, you paying them to take care of their hair, their scalp, and their look, because my whole thing was, you don't got to look like you in treatment. And so you don't got to, girl, you ain't got to worry about that. You just come here and tell me what you want, because I wanted to be a trichologist so bad. And I wanted to grow the hair so bad that I want you to know that I was a good person. And, you know, I'm not trying to beat you in the head and dig in your pockets and all that other stuff. And I'm not, but also trichology, I just got to tell you, and you've been a trichologist, but trichology is a luxury. Right? But it's a needed luxury. It is a luxury that somebody would take this kind of time to go through your blood work, look at your paperwork, look at your scalp underneath a scope, do a pull test, do all these different things, look at you under a magnifying glass and a microscope, and come up with a treatment plan. Look at your blood type and come up with some kind of nutrition plan for you. That's luxurious, but at the same time, it's needed. Right? At the same time, it's needed. And so when you are planning to succeed, these are things that you have to consider. When you plan to succeed, you have to decide how much it's going to be, how long you're going to spend with the client, what is your atmosphere, what is all these things. You're going to have to consider the different general protocols that you're going to have to come up with. Now, some of you may go to somebody and buy protocols. I have something called the Big 5 protocol book, and you can get 5 protocols from me with an anti-inflammatory diet in it and make all your money. Right? You can make all of your money with this ebook. It is absolutely fabulous. But what I'm telling you is that if you use the formula that I gave you, you can create your own general protocol for everything that you see. So when you're standing behind the chair, or when you're sitting at your desk and you're looking at, okay, Miss Amelia, she came in, this was her consultation. These are the things that I see. I need a protocol for each of these things. She needs a protocol for her traction alopecia. There needs to be a protocol for her telogen effluvium. She's also perimenopausal. She also has, I don't know, something, right? You may have to come up with a protocol specifically for that client for each of the issues that you're going to address within a treatment plan cycle. So if you do that, then you have to look at the fact that sometimes, again, you're not going to be able to address all 4 things in a treatment plan cycle. So you might have to break it down and do 2. So something that's not 2 dominant things, but one that's dominant and then one that is not as dominant, right? And then she can come back and do another treatment plan cycle with you for another 12 weeks to get that other thing together. But all while you're doing that, you are teaching them how to maintain, right? How to take care of their hair and scalp, how to take care of their nutrition, because hair is the healthy side effect. Hair is the healthy side effect, and that's what you absolutely need. So I thought that I would come on and teach Plan to Succeed for absolutely free. I'm glad y'all joined me. I can't wait for, what is it called? Group mentorship. Group mentorship starts on May 4th. So we're excited about that. Let me see. Yeah, so we did that. We did Why Trichologists Are Broke yesterday. That was a masterclass. So that was done on a Zoom. So that's done. Definitely can do it again if you're interested in that. Group mentorship is registration is closed. But if you're interested in it, I can definitely do that. You can get the book by going to my website. It is Maisha -K. Let me put it right here. Maisha -K.com. Okay. Let me see if you see it. That's the website. I don't know if you can click it in the link, but that's what it is, Maisha-K.com. And you can go on there. And then when you get on there, you're going to go to the little pill that says professionals. You click on professional, and then you'll see all the things I have. I have the exit, right, plan to exit book. And that's how you're going to get from the regular behind the chair straight to the money as a trichologist. Also this the Big 5 protocol book and all those things. So I hope I have helped you. I'm probably going to jump on a few more times and just teach the classes that I used to teach back in the day. So if you're like, I really need help, I really need to see what I can do to enhance my trichology practice, then I'm your girl. Also, those that do know that I'm also involving and infusing AI with trichology. So for your systems, for your business systems, like you already know, I have Trisha. Trisha is my AI assistant. Thank you. She's my AI assistant. And so she answers questions and helps me with revenue and all those things. I built her with all the knowledge that I have of trichology. And so I have people that have subscribed to Trisha. She's also on that pro page. Also, if you are somebody that you're doing the work, you by yourself, and you need a voice agent so that when you're doing stuff, right, you're not missing money. And I'll just say this and I'll get out of here. Imagine you do a 15-minute free consultation, which I do, right? You do the free consultation, people are calling, you do it, and then you get 4. So say you do 4, you do one a week, so 4 a month. 2 people you close, 2 people you didn't, and you don't have time to go back, right? Let's pretend like you charge $500, right, for a treatment plan. Let's pretend this treatment plan, very cheap treatment plan, right? That means that you are missing out, or did I say 5? Let's say 5,000. Long story short, you miss 2 a month for a year, and you end up leaving about $60,000 on the table, whatever that ends up to be. I don't know if it's like 5,500, 5,000. Okay. It is a big deal. So you want to have stuff in place. When you go into my website, check it out. There's a little floating microphone on there. You can click on there and she'll talk to you. She's going to say, hey, happy hair growing. This is Trisha. I'm here to help you. You can say, oh, I want a consultation. And she's going to tell you how to do that. Then you're going to tell her, no, I'm a trichologist, and she's gonna say, oh, you're a professional, and you're gonna say, yeah, I want to work with Maisha. She's gonna say, okay, well then she got these classes, da 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 da, and all that other stuff. It's real cute. You can have the same thing. I do that too. I build that out too. All right. So anyway, I hope that I helped you. Again, plan to succeed. You want to look at how you're going to get there, how you're going to get that client from the consultation to the results that you guys talked about. You want to talk about different things. I didn't even talk about what type of trichologist are you. That is a whole nother thing. What kind of clinic do you have, right? All those things. Bless you, sis. And so that's it. I hope I helped you. I hope it was a good class. All right. Have a great day today and happy hair growing.